Mike Celona, your comedy minute.
And these are not jokes. This is just like a fun story that makes me laugh, right?
Anything you want it to be, Mike.
Okay, so my grandfather honestly just died a couple weeks ago, and it's been pretty rough. And he was not like your average grandfather. He was a biker. It was insane. But when I was kids, me and my brother did Boy Scouts, and we went away for the weekend, and I won a gun rack. And he's a hunter, so I gave it to him. But the story made me think about him because it was me and my brother, and this guy brought an eagle, and he's like, we're in the front row, we're little kids. He's like, all right, so I have this eagle, and his name's whatever, Biscuits. And like, this is how he does this. And he's just, when you're a kid and you look at eagles, and he goes, the biggest thing is they don't like their vision. It's all about movement. So if they're a mile high, they'll see a mouse move. So you have to stay calm around them or they freak out. Oh, no. And at that moment, my brother got stung by a bee in the front row. So we're at this compound on Boy Scouts, and my brother gets stung by a bee, and the hawk is now going nuts, and the guy's arms yipping. And he's like, guys, everyone. And there's like 100 kids there. They're like, and they're all rolling because the bee's still going, and the guys aren't, and the hawk is going at the guy now, and he has because it's chained to his wrist. He can't get away. It's chained to his wrist. And dude, oh my God, that's one of my earliest memories.
Man, that was your comedy minute. Marc Trinidad, go ahead, buddy.
This one that gets me in trouble. Okay. So I'm a big fan of mushrooms. Now, mushrooms is a teacher. It's not the type of drug that you take just for, oh, I want to feel good. No. Mushrooms is a teacher, but sometimes mushrooms is a teacher with a wicked sense of humor as well, too. One night, here's a scenario. One night I was on mushrooms.
Oh, no.
And mushrooms told me, Mark, the NFL should start recruiting from school shootings.
Oh, God.
And I stepped back. I was like, pardon me, what? Now this is going on in my head. And I was like, no. What did you say? And then Mushroom said, no. Hang on a second. All I'm saying is if we review the tapes, there's going to be at least one kid running zigzag patterns, stiff arming other kids, high step. That's a potential running back. That's a recruit. That's all I'm saying, Mark. I'm not talking about the shooter, Mark. I'm not talking about the shooter. The shooter has committed a heinous crime, and the Patriots going to draft him first round.
Wow.
Horrible joke. I know. It's a horrible joke.
No, Mark.
Mushrooms that told me that. It wasn't me. That was mushrooms.
That may be the best comedy minute ever, for God's sakes. Oh, my God. I didn't know where you were going with that.
No children were hurt in the making of that joke. Just
no children were hurt. Yeah, it's good you did a disclaimer, Mark. Oh, God, you're so funny.
Anytime I like just being on stage. I mean, I don't have moments that I remember because of all the drugs, but
all the drugs.
Well, medically, prescribed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had a guy on Stacey that ate too many mushrooms. When I asked him his favorite comedy minute, he ate too many mushrooms and climbed up in his neighbor's tree.
Wow, I never did that. I mean, I've done crazy stuff in my life. Don't get me wrong, but
well, see, that's what I was looking for, but you're just not going to give it to me.
I don't.
I'm kidding you. You're fine. Tell me about your best show. You told me about your least favorite show with the kids. Tell me
there's so many. I'm just kidding.
Every time I walk on the stage.
I mean, the shows when I'll be a generalist. It's like I feel like I'm in a job interview. Hey, when they ask you like your worst trait, like what would you be? I'm like, I'm not telling you my worst trait. None of your fucking business. I don't work for you yet. You'll find out if I get the job.
Your comedy minute, Larry Haney. Have at it, buddy.
Okay. I'm going to give you the story of when me and my mother, we were heading back from Midland, Texas.
Okay.
And we seen a yellow mop bucket, the big industrial mop buckets like they would use at Walmart or a school or whatever, right? And we see this mop bucket in the center of the highway. And as soon as we see it, I look at my mother and I said, Well, that fucking janitor wasn't going in today, was he? and when and I start, and from the time I start going for 2 full hours, I'm really beating this subject to death, right? About this janitor, and I'm fuck you motherfuckers, you want your fucking throw up cleaned up, bitch, you go get your own motherfucker. You know, I'm doing all this shit. I've got her laughing to death, right? I think we're gonna die because she's driving. So I think we're gonna die. And I think in that moment is like really when my mom got behind me in comedy. She's always seen it my whole life. She's always known, you know, that I'm funny, whatever.
Right, right.
But that's always the story she references. She's like, you can make a mop bucket funny for 2 hours. Like there's nothing you can't do in this world. Like you can do this, you can do this. And so like, I love that story because it just means a lot to me. You know, it's the point, I think, where she really, and that's where she became the mosquito that, that was going to make sure that I was out there, that I got up on stage.
Helen Shephard, your comedy minute. Let's go.
Well, thing is, your audience is predominantly American. I thought I'd talk about some of, you know, some more things that confuse me in America.
Okay.
Like biscuits. Biscuits to us are cookies. So that's very confusing. Like I thought at first I was going to get like cookies with my breakfast. I was like, this menu is mental. And then the funniest one of all is a fanny pack. You know, a fanny pack, we call that a bum bag because a fanny is a vagina. So you're literally like, oh, look at my vagina pack. That's what British people hear when you say fanny pack. I was like, what? This is weird. Yeah. And then we don't have to get smog tests in the UK. So I got a letter saying that I needed to get a smog test. And I was like, shit, I better call my gynecologist. And then my gynecologist was like, you need to go see a mechanic. So I went to see my local mechanic, and I have to say, the pap smear he gave me was incredibly thorough. One more. What should I do? Oh, so I love horses. I love to horse ride.
Yeah.
And I said to my friend who's American, I really want to go horse riding this weekend. And she looked at me and said, don't you mean horseback riding? And I was like, in the UK, we don't feel the need to specify which part of horse we're going to ride. I was like, wow, Americans are crazy.
My buddy, Tim Young, Black Ass Tim, your comedy minute. Go ahead.
Okay, my comedy minute. Booed. You know, a lot of comedians don't get booed anymore. We live in this world where they tell you, please don't say anything. Keep your silence, you know, keep your conversations to a minimum. In Atlanta, when I came up, it was called the Apollo Night, and you got booed. They tell you to boo from the diaphragm when you come in there. Yes. I once saw a dude get up there, and he said, I got 3 weeks to live. Y'all don't scare me. And somebody from the crowd said, die now, motherfucker. So let me tell you, Scott, this crowd is, I gotta be, yes, I gotta be what? I was probably 19. I was 19. No, I was 17.
Okay.
And I had been doing talent shows all over, sneaking into poetry slams, making poems just so I can get in. And I get in there, and my mom tells me, baby, if you go into a real comedy club, be sure to dress up. It's not the right answer. It's not the right answer. I put on a fucking tie.
No.
Oh no is right, Scott. So
up on stage.
I get on stage. I get on stage, and God rest his soul, Nard Holston was one of the premier comics out here in Atlanta. I think I was on stage for probably 20 seconds before somebody started booing the shit out of me. So I run off the stage as those first timers do, trying to get out of the line of fire, and he says, man, you did all that and didn't even wear a tie? So I pull my tie out of my pocket, and he says, motherfucker, you should go hang yourself. Wait, Scott.
No.
Wait, Scott. So I muster up 3 months later, I got my friends. I've been working on my jokes. I go back, and this is how Black Ass Tim was born in Atlanta. I get on stage again. I get about 2 jokes out. I'm going to say maybe 45 seconds on stage, and I get booed. He stops the crowd and says, from now on, for the rest of the night, instead of booing comedians off the stage, we're now going to Tim Young them off the stage. When you hear the worst comedy you've ever heard, you just say Tim Young.
Tim Young.
So niggas was getting Tim Young off the stage for the rest of the night. So 3 months later, after I've worked on all my bits, I come back and I'm Black Ass Tim, because everybody knows Tim Young, and that he's terrible at comedy. So I had to call myself Black Ass Tim so black people would accept me.
That's great. That's a great comedy minute.